All right, everybody. Welcome to this week's football preview. I still sound pretty defeated, obviously, as I am. I have Steve Ullman back with me this week again. Steve, it's good to have you back after a couple weeks off. How you doing?
I'm doing better than you, I think.
Yeah, that's probably
Even
right.
though Minnesota got crushed this weekend too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, not like yours,
By who?
Nebraska.
I didn't know that any other football games were being played on Saturday.
It was at 2:30 as well. So
Oh, okay, yeah, probably got mopped up under the game that we're about to address. So I have a few things written down here about the game that I suppose I should address. I'll start off with that being the most devastating loss of my fanhood career by far. I've been through the Appalachian State game. I've been through a lot of LeBron losses in the finals. I've been through two deep NCAA tournament runs with Michigan that ended in poor fashion with the Louisville championship game and the Harrison buzzer beater. My favorite NFL team, the 07 Patriots, lost in the Super Bowl on the tie replay. This trumps that by 100 miles. So I'm going to start there to know where my mind is still at on what is today. I don't even know what today is. What is today? Wednesday?
today's Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah. Next, to Jason Hofer for tweeting at me or mentioning my name repeatedly post-game when I had said not one word to him throughout the game, calling me a diehard for going silent for a few days, just proves why I hate with every fiber in my bone anything that involves the Michigan State Spartans. I will still uphold the bet that I made with him, which he also fudged up, thinking I had to wear it that day, Michigan State gear, proving he does not listen to anybody either. So I will still uphold my end of the bet of going out in Michigan State gear next time I'm home. But his level of a person, in my book, went down a few notches after the reaction of that game.
Brutal. This doesn't sound like sour grapes at all.
Third, I don't blame the punter for dropping the very easy snap. I don't blame him for picking it up and trying to punt it. I don't blame him for missing said punt and then just chucking it. I don't blame the refs for missing the center get pulverized by 3 Michigan State players on the snap, which is a penalty by the book. I don't blame Jim Harbaugh for making the basic, simple decision of trusting your punter. I blame myself for having the most bad karma built up in my life for being a horrible person. So I blame myself for that loss. About the actual game, we were the better team the entire game.
It's hard to argue.
I don't care if you had 20 first downs and we had 10. I don't care if they outgained us. You scored 14 of your points off the worst play in NCAA history and an ejection that should have never happened. So there's that. Connor Cook is undraftable. He's awful. He was absolutely awful, dreadful. I don't even know if he completed 50% of his passes. He's awful. Couldn't get a drive to score to save his life to take the lead. He threw a 75-yard touchdown pass to a fullback that was a 3-yard pass that I'm pretty sure Michigan had never seen before. Hats off to offensive coordinator, whoever. Great play. Executed perfectly. He's awful, Connor Cook, awful. If he gets drafted in the first 2 rounds, I give up.
He's getting drafted in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, well, he's awful. So that team's either never going to play him or draft another quarterback. So, anyways, finally, the bye week for Michigan could not come at a better time because we might lose to any team in the country this weekend if we played. So,
well, you better load up for the Gophers on Halloween after the bye.
I mean, if we lost every game for the rest of this year, I wouldn't even care. So, that's what I got. So, do you got any questions there?
Yeah, I think what the people want to hear is, so you must have been cock of the walk at the bar on that last drive until the punt. Because it was all but over. So, or were you at the bar?
Yeah. So I go to this bar. It's called Final Score here in Point, and all of my roommates and a couple of buddies go. So I walk in, and the bartender that comes to serve me is wearing Michigan State gear.
Ouch.
So she's in Michigan State gear from East Lansing, moved here. So all game, feeling good. We're doing really well. Her shift ends, and she's on the other side of the bar. And I'm about to send a friendly drink over her way. She's a pretty good looking girl, so it's gonna send a friendly drink over her way. That play happens. I closed my tab out within 2 minutes and walked home, locked myself in my room, and I came out at 3:30 Sunday for the first time.
Yeah, I kind of thought that might be. So you took 2 big L's on Saturday, by the way. Then.
Yeah. I mean, one was an inevitable L, but the other one was.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah,
that's kind of what I figured had happened was that it was. But were you were you chirping at all? Not with her, but just in general, were you?
Yeah.
Were you chirping at all, up until the end of the game, and then it was just
Yeah, when good things. I think I had a line where. I think after the first Michigan State play on offense, I said they might not score. And that's when the whole bar was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And then I know touchdowns, I was the only guy clapping and whatnot. And there was comments coming my way. And then people that weren't even rooting for Michigan State were going against me. So yeah, it was almost a me against the bar, which was actually pretty full by halftime or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was me against the world per usual. And I exited that situation fairly quickly. I may have thrown a curse word or two around the bar at some people that, maybe didn't deserve a curse word or two, but that's just how it is,
Yeah, that will happen. Well, also in response to what you said earlier about Jason, since he's the only person that I know for sure listens to this thing, let's be a little easy on him.
No.
And also, no, but I was watching with Jason at his house.
Okay.
And I've never seen euphoria quite like it. And it's completely understandable.
Yeah.
We're watching to the bitter end. And so the play happens. Obviously it's just a weird
switching over to baseball.
What do you mean?
Rumor has it that he, during this game, was switching over to baseball back and forth.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe he during commercials, maybe he checked the score. He didn't miss any plays of the game.
Okay.
But anyway, so the play happens, and it's complete chaos. So there's a little bit of a what's going on moment. He's jumping up and down, peels his shirt off, of course. He and Kiefer was there too. He was the only other one. Kiefer picks him up, just slams Holfer down on the ground, and it was on from there. It was just
the flag I caught was undeserved. I didn't say one word about Michigan State.
Some of that may have been fueled by outside influences.
I know Kiefer's egging him on all game, so also
to set the scene, they started a power hour at noon. So
I mean, we're grown men. That's inexcusable. It's
well,
inexcusable.
all right. I
I
guess
don't care.
we're gonna have to have him on to squash it. I'm objective in this.
Also, one more thing. The Michigan State player that scored the touchdown and apparently broke his hip or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
good. Absolutely good. I hope that guy never plays again.
Probably wouldn't have anyway.
Backed into the greatest play ever by just accidentally being somewhere. So good. Anyways, anything else on that?
No, I think that about covers it.
Okay. Do you think that you're going to beat us next week then?
Probably not. Minnesota's brutal again.
Okay.
Not like Tim Brewster bad, but they're bad.
So we still might go. Yeah. I mean, yeah,
I would be surprised if that game's even close.
we would have played Ohio State for a spot in the playoff, and instead we're gonna just play Ohio State for pride again. So that's sweet.
Maybe you can go to the Capital One Bowl.
I don't even want to go to a bowl anymore, to be honest with you. I don't at all. Okay, so anything else in the college ranks over the weekend that you want to touch on? There's nothing this week.
No.
So, I mean, the game day game, they're going to James Madison, I think. So,
That's right.
yeah, I have nothing to talk about college probably for the rest of the year. So we'll move on. We'll go to NFL. Some of the stuff over the weekend we can touch on. Any thoughts on what happened over the weekend? Packers escaped.
Yeah.
Patriots didn't win by 100. But
that didn't surprise me all that much either. That the Colts came to play a little bit. I mean, obviously, a lot of people thought that it might be just a deflate. I would refuse to use the word that everyone else uses. The deflate scandal. They're just gonna blow them out, little revenge, whatever. But I just, the Colts are gonna play them tough if Andrew Luck's playing.
Yeah,
or toughish.
Yeah,
we should talk about that
play.
I guess it was a fake punt, whatever, on fourth down, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Where Griff Whalen snapped it.
Mm-hmm.
1-on-4.
Yeah. First, I want to say I agree that as the game got closer, despite me saying that I thought the Patriots were going to win by 100, that the Colts were going to be able to do some stuff. And I thought that they would win by more than that, but I'm not surprised that that's how it went. Now that play, that I've watched football like intently for, I'll say like 10 years where I could like remember everything.
Sure.
That's the worst play I've ever seen in my entire life. That was actually like set. Like the Michigan punt, like that's, it's just a weird play.
Yeah, that's just a goofy, yeah.
That, like, whenever does Chuck Pagano think that would work?
Well, and I guess
the guy's options.
I guess his thing was that he was just trying to create a little chaos. Best case scenario, the Patriots just get a little confused and call timeout. That's the best case scenario is the Patriots burn a timeout. The worst case scenario is that Griff Whalen snaps it to somebody and 4 Patriots tackle him. And that's exactly what happened.
So my thing is, I don't understand how you have the miscommunication that if you don't get him to jump off sides, you're supposed to not snap it. He snapped it with 1 second left on the play clock, making it even easier for the Patriots to obviously jump around the one non-blocker, Griff Whalen.
And Pat McAfee said they've been working on that play as early as last year.
So, yeah, okay. So I saw that he said stuff. I didn't see exactly what he said, but from what I was reading, it made it sound like worse for Chuck Pagano.
Well, yeah, I mean, none of it's going to make Chuck Pagano sound good. But also, Pagano, credit to him, he did kind of take a bullet for Griff Whalen there, post game. He never said Griff should have never snapped that ball.
I mean, he said it live.
He said he said it to Griff Whalen, not to like,
Yeah, but the
you
cameras
know,
were rolling, and
he didn't know that. I'm saying that at the
yeah,
podium when they asked him about it, he said that was my fault, which is
yeah.
true.
Oh, that's absolutely his fault. The fact that in a game where you're actually like close, that is even like a thought is
It was a
mind blowing.
6-point game.
Yeah, against an offense that you actually got a couple stops on. So why would you give him the ball at your 35?
And McAfee's a great punter. Punting from where they were, the chances that ball ends up inside the 20 are very
Pretty
high.
high. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think they're going to fire Pagano in season, but that is a fireable offense.
Yeah, I kind of doubt they will too. But I mean, if they keep losing, maybe they will. But someone's got to lose their job for that.
Yeah.
I've never seen in college. Every once in a while, teams will try something like that, or not like that, but some like weird fake punt that blows up in their face. But I have never ever seen an NFL team run a play that catastrophic before.
Yeah, that was. I know. I saw a video of when Jim Zorn was with coaching the Redskins. He had like an awful fake field goal that was somewhat similar to that, but at least they like got to a point where like he like even though like he was like getting blown up as he was about to throw the football, he like still knew what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, these guys look like they had no clue what they were supposed to do.
Well, the guy that took the snap, he just like he looked at it like he had never seen a football before.
Yeah, he curled up on the ball pretty much
because he knew that he shouldn't have it snapped.
Yeah. So,
all right. Anyway, we can get to the games.
Yeah. Well, do you want to touch on the Packers? Because I think you have some issues with the Packers.
Actually, I have way fewer issues with the Packers than almost everyone else.
Yeah. Okay.
I've always been an eternal optimist when it comes to that. Yeah. And for me, like the real bottom line is that now they're 6-0, and like they don't need to be that great in the regular season even.
No.
They just need to get to the tournament. And now like there's no chance that they're not making the playoffs,
Oh no, I'm not worried about that.
I know that that's not like what people's concern is. People's concern is that Rodgers, I mean, he's obviously still looks really good, but the offense doesn't look completely unstoppable like they have in the past.
I mean, it looks far from unstoppable.
Right. Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, like I think that Devontae Adams being out has been not talked about enough in the context of that. Without two of your top three receivers. On Sunday, Montgomery left the game before the half.
Yeah.
So you're talking like Randall Cobb and Jeff Janis out wide. And like that long-haired guy, Perillo.
Perillo, yeah.
None of us knew his name until Sunday.
No.
He caught a pass. And those are issues that are going to be fixed. Adams is probably going to be back after the bye. Montgomery, it was an ankle thing, so worst case scenario, he's out a few weeks. The running back thing, everybody knows I love James Starks. I think that he should get as many carries as Lacey does anyway, even when they're healthy. But Lacey's going to get healthier too with these 2 weeks off. I wouldn't worry about the offense or the Packers in general.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think you're going to get Adams back, obviously, and Montgomery and whatnot. But I don't know. It just seems like, and that could be mostly because of the receivers not be able to create separation. But like even Cobb's not getting open. And
because he's the only threat out there.
Yeah, and their offense just looks out of sync. Even like Starks, he had the long run, but other than that, he didn't do much.
He only had 10 carries.
Yeah, so they're not running the ball either. Not that they need to, because I've always been a guy that said that the Packers should throw 40 times, but they didn't even throw. Rodgers only threw like 30. I don't even know if he threw 30 times. They barely even had the ball.
They barely had the ball. Yeah.
And
also the Chargers did well. Yeah, you're gonna go there, but the Chargers did. They had the perfect offensive game plan. They knew exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah. So
through the short passes, they obviously completed 40. threw for 500 yards. That's not great.
No. And
I think
they
you want to hear my
picked
excuse for that?
sure.
My excuse for that is the defensive line rotations were short, and they were on the field the entire game. Also, I think they should have brought a little more heat. They rushed four for like the entire second and third quarter, and Rivers just like sat back and waited for Keenan Allen at first until he got hurt, and then literally anybody else, Floyd, to get open.
So you seem to the Packers are Super Bowl or bust, correct?
Yeah.
So you seem to have had problems with a short passing game from a quarterback that gets the ball out fairly quickly and accurately. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Like Rivers gave you problems. What other quarterback in the AFC that you could potentially meet in the Super Bowl does virtually the same exact things?
The Super Bowl's in February, though.
Okay.
I'm not worried about October, 17th or whatever.
No, I know. I'm
Games
just saying, like these
impacting how they're going to play against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
These are some issues that could potentially pop up again.
If nothing else, I'm glad it happened in October. Now when they face Tom Brady against a short passing game, hopefully they got a couple different things in.
Okay.
3 months from now,
Okay.
if that happens.
Okay. We'll move on to the games this week. Do you want to do the Thursday game? Seattle, San Fran?
Sure.
Okay. I got Seattle as -6.5. At San Francisco. I don't know what to think of Seattle.
Yeah, I said 2 weeks ago when we talked that they're going to start winning games. That was before the Cincinnati game. They're 0-2 since then. Or maybe they're just not any good.
No.
I don't know what could have
because
changed to make them a bad team.
Because they're winning they're winning every game. They just can't hold a lead.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that has something to do with the defense. The Carolina game, there's blown coverages late in that game repeatedly, including the game-winning touchdown.
Well, and Carolina has one person that can catch passes.
Yeah.
Greg Olsen. That's it.
Yeah.
Ted Ginn is their number one receiver, and they can't cover like Greg Olsen.
I mean, Greg Olsen, yeah, he was wide open running straight down the field for the game-winning touchdown. Well, literally all he did was run straight. So,
while Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor are yelling at each other about it. Either one of you should be able to cover him.
Something weird is going on with Sherm, I think.
Yeah, he's kind of gotten eaten up a little bit.
He doesn't.
Not like
he's not getting like picked on, but
no, but
he just doesn't seem to. I don't know. Those guys, all of them seem like Earl Thomas. They just seem like something is maybe they got paid and then the yelling and the chip and everything is gone. But I don't
know if it's the money necessarily, but I think you're right that now, like Legion of Boom they're still there, but they're no good. Like it's just the weirdest.
I just don't think anybody's scared of them anymore.
Well, that's definitely part of it. And there's always been weird locker room stuff in Seattle, and I wonder if that might be
they took that weird Hawaii trip after the season last year to air it out, and it just seemed like it was really awkward.
Yeah. And the a couple of years ago it was we just got to if they just get rid of Percy Harvin, the locker room would be fine. I don't think that was true, obviously.
No.
And I think the Cam holdout, I don't know what, Lynch was on his team, the pay Cam, campaign.
I think they all kind of were.
And I don't know if that had any, he signed a contract 1 year ago. I don't know if any of his teammates were upset about the holdout or what, but you're right. That defense has lost its.
I think a lot of it. I don't think that they are on board with Russell Wilson getting paid.
I could definitely see those guys, personality-wise, clashing with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, because he hasn't done his job closing those games out either this year.
Nope.
So, San Fran hasn't looked bad the last couple of weeks. They've simplified.
Gotten a lot better.
They simplified some things with Kaepernick. still think Seattle is going to win this game by a fair amount.
I think they'll win it by a touchdown too. It is Thursday night though too. Weird things happen on Thursday night.
That's true.
And as a Packers supporter, I hope Seattle loses every game for the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, I would agree. The nice thing is you guys are going to be probably playing every game at Lambeau once playoffs come around. You don't have to go to the noise box in Seattle.
Well, and the thing is, if they don't play every game in Lambeau, the other options are essentially at this point Atlanta, Carolina, Arizona, which are places I am not afraid to go.
You're not scared to play in Arizona?
In Arizona? In a dome? No.
Okay. All right. Let's go to we'll go to New Orleans, Indianapolis. At Indianapolis, Indy favored by 4.5. I still don't know what to make of Indianapolis.
I don't really know what to make of Indianapolis either, but I think New Orleans is bad.
Yeah.
Like more than 5 points worse than Indy.
Really?
Yeah.
They
I
pretty
think that
well.
Indy at some point with luck, in his second week back now, is going to have a game where he blows up, has a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll probably be against a terrible New Orleans team.
So it's in Indianapolis, yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I probably agree with the cover. I think that the Indy defense is terrible. So I think that Breeze will still be able to put up some points. But it's kind of this is a game where Indy's in kind of like a lose-lose situation, in my opinion. Because you should blow them out. But if you don't win this game, you're really like on the chopping block of this team has absolutely no chance of doing anything in the playoffs.
Indy?
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to do anything in the playoffs anyway.
I think they could win a game.
Yeah, I mean they could definitely win a wild card game or something, but
Yeah.
they're not going to win the AFC, I don't think. And that was something that I thought could happen in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's true.
Last year for sure.
For sure, yeah. Let's do Pittsburgh at Kansas City because I want to talk about Pittsburgh a little bit.
Sure.
There's not a line on this game because of the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh. So I think Pittsburgh is the biggest threat, like a team that I think could win the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
That not a lot of people are talking about.
Well, it is, to me, it says a lot that their quarterback goes down, obviously. They played 3 games now since that?
Yeah. 1-2 and lost one.
And they're 2-1.
Yeah.
With washed Michael Vick.
And Landry
4-2 overall. Well, yeah, Landry Jones, obviously, this weekend. 4-2 overall, and that's the exact opposite of a pretty good Dallas team when their quarterback went down.
Yes.
So that, I think that says a lot about the other 21 starters.
Yes.
That Pittsburgh has won games without their starting quarterback. That's a tough thing to do.
Yes.
If the Packers starting quarterback goes down, I don't trust them to win any games.
Yeah, you saw that a couple of years ago. They literally
like
didn't win any game. They won one game.
They pulled out a couple essentially miracles against the Cowboys and the Falcons, and those are the only wins.
Yeah.
And how many teams can lose their quarterback and then continue to win games? So once Roethlisberger comes back, I think you could be right. They could roll.
And I said that preseason they were my pick to play the Patriots in the AFC Championship game because I think offensively they have an unbelievable amount of talent around Roethlisberger.
Mm-hmm.
Like Martavis Bryant comes back and just rips it up last week.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, they're making huge strides. They gave Arizona some fits last week. I know Palmer threw for a lot of yards, but they were kind of like empty yards where it's like, they were losing all games, so they had to just keep chucking, and that offense is good enough where he's going to get yards,
Mm-hmm.
So I have a really good feeling. I think, though, that this could be a weird game at Kansas City and Arrowhead, but I think Kansas City is so bad. So Yeah, I think Pittsburgh wins either way, and it sounds like Roethlisberger will be back in the next couple weeks. But if they keep winning, you can just keep holding off maybe till he's 100% and not have to rush him back.
Well, yeah, and I guess this weekend we get to find out if Landry Jones is going to be the thing that really does sink him. Maybe Michael Vick was playing well enough, playing okay, and I don't know. I don't know about Landry Jones. It's crazy to me that I actually printed this morning. I have the games, and they have a line on it, and they have Pittsburgh favored in Arrowhead with Landry Jones playing quarterback.
How much was it? What was it?
2 points.
Wow.
Which to me is
that says a lot about Kansas City.
Yeah, well, Kansas City has looked so bad.
Yeah, they were bad last week against Minnesota. So yeah, I think Pittsburgh wins. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess it's hard to say they're not going to.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go to the big noon game. I've mentioned obviously the Patriots before. They're playing the Jets in New England. New England's -9. I think that line is bananas. I think that
it's crazy.
The Jets will keep this within a one-possession game fairly easily. The one thing that scares me, though, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been good for 5 games. He's due for a Ryan Fitzpatrick 4-interception blow-up game.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, personally. I think the Jets are going to keep it close. I think 9 that's a lot of points against a pretty good Jets team.
Yeah. Jets defense is probably them and the Broncos are probably the top 2 Ds in the league.
Yeah. They're definitely way, way up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that Fitzpatrick, he doesn't seem to me like the kind of quarterback that has those giant blow-up type games. He's been solid for
no, but he's had those games. Like when the Bills went 6-0 or whatever that one year, and they paid him all that money, and then he just imploded. Like he's had those games.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think I think New England coming off the game with Indy, they might be a little lackluster, and I think that, I think the Jets keep it within 9.
Yeah, I do too. And I don't know. Maybe I'm too high on Fitzpatrick. Did you know he went to Harvard?
I knew he went to an Ivy League school. I wasn't 100% sure if it was Harvard or not, but it's good to know now.
Yeah.
The 325 games kind of stink. There's only 2 of them.
Can we talk quickly about what do you think about Minnesota Detroit?
I think Minnesota will win that game.
They have Minnesota by 2.5 in Detroit.
Yeah, I think they take care of that. I think Minnesota's pretty good.
I think Minnesota's pretty good too. They've had a couple of games where they've looked not very good.
I think that their offensive game plan is pretty tentative.
Yeah.
I think that they're pretty predictable right now. Their defense is really good. Zimmer's got their defense in a really good spot.
Especially up front. Those guys are animals.
Yeah, Barr is
Everson
first
Griffin.
one. Boom, Griffin's a monster. I mean, even the back 4, Xavier Rhodes is really good. Harrison Smith does a really nice job. Yeah, I think they're good. I think they're too predictable on offense right now. I think everybody knows first downs, rightfully so, going to be turned and handed to AP.
Right.
Probably second down, and then a lot of times they get Bridgewater in bad passing situations if they stop him on first and second down.
Right.
So I think I'm not Teddy. The Bridgewater thing, I don't think anybody's really sure if he's good or not yet.
Yeah, he's in that kind of weird, a couple years in, could still go either way. He's played well,
and he's winning games.
And he's winning games. Last year they won a few. This year they're they have a good chance to make the playoffs. Definitely. They're definitely the second best team in the NFC North.
Yep.
They're a lot better than the Bears and the Lions.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that they're, at least as good as, say, the Falcons. They won a bunch of games early.
I would agree.
But, they're kind of built, maybe not built like Carolina, but that type of team to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would
So
agree
they have
to a
a
point.
really strong defense, not super weapons outside. Cordero Patterson
Doesn't play.
he's shown flashes, or he showed flashes, but he doesn't get many snaps. He doesn't get any targets.
They don't use Mike Wallace like Mike Wallace should be used, and that kind of frustrates me. But
Yeah.
they haven't thrown a ball down the field to him yet this year.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like you said, they almost have a leash on Bridgewater.
Yeah, that's
Like they want to,
frustrating.
they want to get him confident before they throw the ball down the field at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, at some point you just got to try to do that.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, I think that line seemed low to me. That Minnesota was only favored by 2.5 points.
I think people saw Detroit's, despite it being against the Bears defense, kind of click a little bit. But yeah, I think Minnesota. If this is another one of those games where you're like on the road, if you're a good team, like they are better than Detroit, you take care of this. Even if they don't cover the spread, they win somehow.
Right. Yeah. If you want to be good, you have got to beat this bad team.
Yeah.
Like if you want to beat
division, seriously. Bad team.
Even on the road, you've got to got to win these games.
I agree 100%.
And I think they're going to.
Yeah, I agree too. We'll go Dallas, New York. That's the Fox America's Game of the Week, 3:25. Matt Castle starting quarterback now. Christian Michael sounds like he's going to take over for Joseph Randall. The Giants are.
What happened?
I don't know because I like the Giants. I think that I picked them to win the East, and their offense. Yeah, they still might because that division is dumpster fire. But they drive right down the field the first possession, driving right down the field the second possession. Eli throws a pick, and they get nothing after that.
Yeah, and I try not to talk about my fantasy football team on the show. I don't think I've ever brought it up before. But because of that game, I suffered one of the worst beats in fantasy football I ever have had.
You got beat by an Eagles defense?
No, I had Manning and Odell Beckham.
Okay.
And they were done. I needed 19 to win. And
you didn't get it?
First drive of the game.
Odell scored.
Manning throws a touchdown to Beckham. That's like 12 on the first drive between, with the yards and stuff between the two of them. I thought I was sailing. Well, anyway, obviously after that, Beckham was quiet. Manning was terrible, threw the 2 picks. But they picked up a few yards here and there, and I was dead tied with this guy going into the very last play of the game. And it's you get 1 point for every a tenth of a point for every yard.
Yeah.
So it's it's a fractional scoring type league.
Yep.
So I'm tied down to the 10th of a point before the last play. Manning drops back, throws it off an offensive lineman, and another offensive lineman catches it for a 10-yard loss. And I lost.
That's brutal.
And I lost by 0.4 of a point because he threw it backwards, or because an offensive lineman caught a 10-yard loss.
And I was going to tell my story because I was playing shoddy, and we're I think I'm up 1 or he's up 1 going into the Monday night game. This does not compare to that. That is awful. But he's got Eagles defense. I have Odell. Odell scores the first touchdown. I'm like, all right, I'm fifth. It's like 12 points or something. And he catches some. He's got like 15 by halftime. I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, 15 by like mid-first quarter. Yeah, all right, I'm sitting good. There's no way his defense is going to get 16 points. Sure enough, pick 6, 5 turnovers by the Giants. I lose to the Eagles defense, and I had Odell Beckham. So, that's brutal. I think the Giants.
In other words, go Cowboys this weekend.
Yeah, I still think the Giants will. Yeah, go Cowboys. But I think the Giants will win this game. They're favored by 3.5 at the Meadowlands. I don't know if they cover that. I think the Cowboys could keep it within a field goal. But I think the Giants will win the game.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to win too. They're one of those teams. Eli is one of those quarterbacks where it's like they'll have a terrible week, and then all of a sudden, oh, here's 400 yards.
Yeah,
So I think, I think the Dallas is, obviously without Dez still, without Romo still, they just look terrible. They look bad, and it's hard to blame them. Those are their two best players by a mile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I think that it's probably going to be all Giants. I think they probably cover the 3.5.
Okay.
But I think they're winning that game at home.
And we'll end with the for picking games. We'll end with the Sunday night game, Philly and Carolina. Carolina by 3.5. The Monday night game is Baltimore, Arizona. That's trash. Arizona will win that. So Philly at Carolina, 3.5 Sunday night. What do you think?
I think Carolina's about due for a loss.
Yeah, I was.
And I think Philly is on the uptick, starting to figure things out a little bit. Obviously, I guess the other side of that terrible Eli Manning Giants offensive performance is that the Eagles are a good defensive team.
Yes.
And offensively, Murray is getting more involved. Scored a touchdown last week. Had a pretty big game. I think that needs to continue to happen. I think it will. And I think Philadelphia is going to win at Carolina. You have it at 3.5. You said
Carolina's favored by 3.5. Yeah, I definitely think I would take money line Philly this week.
Yeah, I think they're going to cover it too.
Bradford, I feel bad for him, kind of, because does he make poor throws? Yeah. The weapons he's throwing to right now are underratedly awful. Riley Cooper is awful. Josh Huff is only in the league because he played at Oregon. Brent Selleck and Zach Ertz is okay, sure. Darren Sproles is a shell of himself at this point, I think. He's
100 years old.
Yeah. Jordan Matthews seems to not be able to catch the ball, and when he does catch it, he fumbles it.
That's frustrating because Jordan Matthews should be good.
Good, yes, I agree. Especially in an offense where if you get going, you get a lot of free space.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. I think Philly will win this game. Definitely cover the 3.5. But the Bradford thing will be interesting because I don't know. Chip has said that he's going to keep sticking with Sam Bradford, but there hasn't really been a whole lot of moans about replacing him either because he's won a couple games in a row. But that's something to watch, I think. So
I don't think they have a better option.
Well, they got Sanchez, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, I understand. I know they have Sanchez, but I'm saying I don't think he's going to step in there and be any better than Sam Bradford.
I would agree.
To those guys.
No, I would agree. I'd agree with you.
Do we know if Aguilar is playing this weekend?
I think he's questionable. I'm sure once gets closer.
Not that he's been a huge impact guy, but he
should be. I don't know.
I think he's someone that could turn into that.
Yeah, I like him actually a lot. So I don't know why they don't use him. That's it for picks. We're about almost at the midpoint of the season, kind of. We're a little over the quarter. Let's do a thing quickly. Who is done? Who is in? And who is potentially hanging around?
Okay.
So we can go through the teams. I mean, you got.
Are we saying done? Are we saying done as in like what are we setting the standard at? The playoffs?
Playoffs, okay. Yeah. So we can go teams that are done already. Titans.
Oh, we're going through like all of them.
Yeah, just we can go through the ones that are done quickly. Because you never know. Like team, the playoffs. You never like some teams you just don't know can win. You got Titans, Jags, Jags. I got Baltimore's out. I think Baltimore's done for sure.
Well, yeah, what are they 1-5 now?
Yeah. I think Houston is done. Chiefs are done. I got Detroit's done. Chicago's probably done.
Probably.
Yeah. And then
that team isn't like they're not certainly not like mathematically out of it or anything. But they don't look good.
Just hypothetically talking here.
Yeah, no, they're done.
Yeah. So teams that are going to be in the playoffs, I have Patriots, obviously, Packers. We'll just start AFC: Patriots, Bengals, Broncos.
Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. Well, yeah. I want to talk about them a little bit, but
Colts. Okay, let's touch on them quickly then.
Well, I think that it's just this is just another opportunity for me to say free Brock Osweiler.
Here's the thing, and I'm not against that. What is Brock Osweiler going to throw a bad pick? Probably every game.
Maybe.
Like, what is Brock Osweiler going to do other than throw the ball farther that Manning doesn't do right now?
He literally could not be worse at taking care of the ball than Peyton Manning has been this year. He leads the league in interceptions.
Yeah, but you don't think like Brock Osweiler might lead the league in interceptions too?
Maybe. I think we got to see him.
I think that's blasphemy. I don't think there's any way that happens.
But let's put it this way. As it stands right now, can the Broncos win the Super Bowl?
No. No, but they're not going to. They can't win with Brock Osweiler either.
I say with the defense this good, you might as well take a shot with a guy that clearly can he can throw the football better than the quarterback you have now. As far as throwing the football goes, he would be better
can throw the football better than a lot of people, and he's terrible.
Yeah, that's Brandon Weeden. I'm talking about Brock Osweiler.
Yeah,
Brandon Weeden's not the backup in Denver.
I know that's not going to happen, so it's kind of a moot point. But you can keep. I really respect how much you're pushing this train hard.
Peyton Manning has given me zero reasons not to.
No, I agree. He hasn't been good, but yeah,
he should have lost them that football game on Sunday.
He should have lost pretty much every game this year for them.
Yeah, that interception in overtime, his defense again. They had the ball at the 40-yard line, and his defense bailed him out.
Yeah,
with a drive that consisted of the Browns losing 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
The Browns had just gained 10 yards there. That game's over, and everyone's talking about how Peyton's cooked, not just me.
Yeah. Okay. Let's quickly, before we leave, talk about a couple tweener teams and where you think they're going up or down. We won't sit and do who's in and who's out because I think it's kind of obvious you're right.
Right.
The Chargers.
Well, last weekend they looked as good. They look pretty good, obviously.
So they're 2-4. They're
2-4, and that is
one of the wild cards is probably going to go to the Steelers.
Yep. The Bengals and Steelers, or the Bengals, because I think it's definitely possible the Steelers take them over.
Okay, so two teams from the north, two teams from. I mean, did the Jets implode?
I don't think implode is the right word, but I don't think they're going to win 12 games.
Okay,
I think they're probably going to win 9 or 10 games.
Okay, so
so the question is, can San Diego win 9 or 10 games after being 2-4?
Yeah, I think they can, but I don't. I think they have too many people to jump right now. So I think they're out.
Yeah. Well, and you kind of sprung this on me, so I don't have season schedules or anything.
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
I don't either. I kind of just came up with it on the fly too, but
they've already played the Vikings, who are tough. So they must play. The rest of the NFC North. Those teams are bad, but I think that's too big of a hole to climb out of it. 2-4 for that team.
Yeah, we'll go one NFC team too because I think this is an interesting one, and it's my St. Louis Rams.
Okay.
I think they're good.
You do?
I think they're
Well,
good.
and the thing is, they've been really good, and then they've also been not good. You know, the game against Seattle, they were good. The game against Green Bay, they were good. You know, the game against Pittsburgh, not so much.
I think Gurley changes everything.
Yeah, and that's definitely seems that way.
I think Gurley changes everything for them offensively, because games where we look bad, we wouldn't be able to run the ball at all.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't even run the ball, then Foles is going to throw 4 picks. He threw 4 picks even when they did run the ball.
Right.
So I think Gurley, and the defense is getting better still. I think he changes everything. I think that they are going to push hard for that 6th seed in the playoffs.
So yeah, I guess the question then is, do you like the Rams more than the Vikings, or
Yes.
do you like them more than the Falcons?
Yes. I don't think they're going to end up with a better record.
Wow.
The 2 teams from the NFC South are going to get in, I think.
So you
For
think it's
sure.
going to be Carolina and Atlanta? They both obviously have
Yeah, so it'll be
really good records. The Packers are in already. You know.
yeah, so it's going to be the Rams, the Seahawks, the Vikings, and whatever other team in the East battling for the 6th spot.
And
they have
I agree with you that they're a pretty good team. I do, and I think
nice
Gurley does change
schedule
everything
too.
They have what's that?
A nice schedule the rest of the way.
Well, they're going to need it if they're going to win the battle with those teams, because I don't think they're as good overall as the Vikings.
Okay. All right. Well,
and I don't think they're as good overall as
the Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
Okay.
Atlanta, maybe.
Well, they did beat Seattle, but anyways.
Well, I know.
That's it for this week. Went a little long babbling about this other stuff, but that's all right. No, I don't know if anybody's going to listen that long anyway. They'll probably quit when they see my defeated face 3 seconds in.
Yeah, since you alienated our only fan.
I didn't alienate him. I simply, he had his social media call out of me. The thing where he said, like, we get you're a diehard, that really pissed me off.
He knows what buttons to push. There's no question about it.
That, like, in no way, shape, or form is me not tweeting for 2 days a diehard. I think he very well knew what my thoughts on the game were. So, yeah, whatever.
Well, hang in there, buddy. It'll get better, I promise.
Yeah, we have you next week. It definitely will get better.
See, that wasn't warranted.
Sorry.
Maybe it'll be like last year and the Gophers will win by 3 touchdowns. Sure.
Yeah. I could care less if it is, honestly. I mean, I said before last week I was all in. Like, if I want the playoff, and for it to happen like that, yeah, it's tough. But I got the hat. Came in the mail on yesterday.
Oh no!
Yeah. So I'm like, I got like an email saying like it's gonna be here like tomorrow, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I really don't want it tomorrow anymore. So, but yeah. All right, that's it. Good talk again.